What's happening, financial coaches? It's Pete here. I want to talk to you about something that I call the power of three, and this has nothing to do with the TV show Charmed. I think there were three sisters in that. I'll be honest, I didn't watch it, but when I quick Googled it, it seemed like there was something about the power of three in there. But anyway, listen, I want to talk to you about the power of doing something three times, and I bring this up because this is something that I actually think about in coaching sessions. I don't tell my participants or my clients about this specifically, but basically, when I have someone working on something and maybe it's something that they're doing for the very first time, it's tough because we're always, I think, innately afraid of trying something for the very first time. And what I really want to do, especially when we're in a longer engagement over coaching, is really have some people that are trying something new that should be beneficial, that should have some value. What I really want to do is try to get them to do it at a very small scale three times. And the reason I bring this up is usually the first time you do anything, it's pretty scary. To be honest, the first time you applied for a job, or the first day you showed up for work, or the first kiss that you ever had, or whatever it might be, the first time for a lot of stuff can be scary. And in fact, most of the time, that after you do something the first time, it just kind of breaks the ice. You say, wow, that wasn't nearly as difficult as I thought it would be. I didn't work out as or feel as much pain as I thought I might. So the first time is really kind of an introduction time to kind of break down the myths, those mental barriers that we have, and just kind of do things. Now, the second time we do something, especially if it's something that we're trying to do and we're having success, call it like working out. The first time that you might lift weights, you might feel so sore and fatigued the next day that you're like, I can never do that again. But when you recover and you do it again, and then next time you feel even stronger, you realize that it wasn't a fluke. So the second time starts building credibility in your mind that what you were doing actually has some value. And so the first time is really about saying, hey, that's not scary. The second time is starting to convince yourself that it actually has value. And now the third time that you do it, basically you have processed the same event, the same task, the same achievement three times, and now it's kind of old hat. So that's why I like three, because I think it's the minimum amount of times that you have to do something to the point where it feels familiar to you, that it almost feels secondhand, that you're at a point where you might speak as an advocate for it, that you might be able to train or walk other people through it. And so I bring this up because there are a lot of people looking for work. There are a lot of people trying to do financial things. There are a lot of people trying to pay down debt or get payment arrangements or work with lenders to go on different types of payment structures, or refinance, or start new jobs, or whatever it might be, right? Work from home the first time, is the same for a lot of people here. So basically what I would love to say here is that if you can help people figure out what the first three instances of anything that they're trying to accomplish are, for example, if they are trying to find a job, and they haven't interviewed in 20 years, to be really honest, right? Well, maybe let's use our coaching session for me to do a mock interview with you, and I will just ask you questions. And like I said, there's no harm, no foul. I'm not hiring. I'm not an interviewer per se, but what it can do is just help people start thinking about, their answers to questions. And then the next thing is maybe they have access to an outplacement or a job service, or maybe they went to college where they have like alumni career services, and they will provide some mock interviews. So that's the second one. And then the third one might be to actually reach out to someone in HR and be like, listen, we're networked through this person. I was wondering if, since you do this for a living, maybe you could interview me like you would interview someone, and maybe that's not even for a real job, but if you were to do this, maybe give me some pointers, right? So there are three small instances that I might actually take people through. Hey, let's just use our time right now. Let's just talk about your work history. And then why don't you reach out to your alumni group and set up a mock interview? Or why don't you reach out to a professional now who can give you some real world feedback? So all of a sudden now you have these three mock interviews done. And so now when you do get a response on your job application, you feel prepared for that actual interview. And it doesn't have to be that. It might just be, listen, you have three credit cards that you need to call and get lowered interest rates on, right? So call the first one, and that might just be, breaking the ice, getting familiar. All right, I realized I had to ask for a manager, and you go through all this this stuff in your mind, and you get off the phone after asking, and maybe they helped you, maybe they didn't, but that's the first time. Now talk to the second credit card company. By the third or fourth or whatever it might be, after doing it a few times, you know what you're going to do. You don't even have to ask, like, you don't have to psych yourself up because you're just ready to do it. And how many times have we done something, whether it's joining a club and you're wondering, hey, I don't know if I want to go to that class. I don't know if I'm in shape. Everyone's probably going to be running circles around me, but you go, and then the next time you go, and then the third time you go, you don't even think about it. All those reservations that you had in your mind the first or second time are totally gone by the time, because you are familiar with something, you have experienced the process. You've broken the barrier scary. You have convinced yourself that this wasn't a one-off, that this wasn't a fluke, that it is repeatable, and then that third time, it's old hat to you. So what I really like doing is helping people, especially when they're trying something new, something for the first time, something that they might not be convinced yet that they can do or even want to do, is just help find opportunities to walk them through, even if they're a mock situation, walk them through it 3 times. Let them go through it 3 times, because really I found that once they've done it 3 times, and to be honest, after they've done it twice, sometimes that third time I don't even need to prod them. They're ready to fly on their own on it. But that's the power. That's my explanation of why I think there's power in doing things 3 times. So hopefully that helps you as you are going through coaching sessions, and maybe you get resistance to someone not wanting to do something, or having reservations, or being apprehensive about it, or worried, or standoffish about it, right? Think about what's the smallest way we could do it the first time, just to kind of break the ice on it, make sure that they don't realize it's scary, and then kind of build from there. So hopefully that helps. I'll see you later.